We're about to get into the SuperSports 600cc. This is the Chang International Circuit, 12 turns, and Buriram has never won here. Just before, as you were going through the description, we had some shots of some rain, some serious rain approaching this track. I'm not quite sure which way the wind is blowing. I'm looking up ahead to see which way the wind is blowing. It looks lovely out there at the moment, but if the rain comes, everything changes, both for this race and also for the superbikes.
Absolutely, it certainly does.
Let's have a look though at qualification first. Sorry, Steve, to cut you off in your prime once again. And the top 5 from P5 to P4. Ramdan Rosli in P5, averaging a top speed of 251.4 kilometers an hour, fastest 1 minute 40.201 on the 9th lap. Good effort on the Yamaha.
Yeah, good to see Adam Norodom back. Of course, he was racing in the CEV Championship last time out. His brother filled in for him and did a pretty good job, in fact. So Adam's probably happy to be back on the bike and hopefully winning ways for him this afternoon.
In 3rd place, Andy Farid Idzahar from Astra Honda Racing Team on the CBR 600. 3rd fast, averaging or maximum speed 258 kilometers per hour. He looked very smooth in qualification earlier on today, Andy Farid Idzahar.
Yeah, really good to see Andy Farid. Brilliant job by him, but of course Yamahas have been strong too out in front of the field, and that man there, number 127, is of course Kazma Daniel. He's also back in the throw. He was in the CEV Championship as well, so all the major players that weren't at round 2 are here, and I'll tell you what, they're more fighting fit than ever after having been in Europe.
Yeah, Kazma Daniel a 2nd and a 3rd so far in his championship, but the man who's on pole, need we tell you, Buriram Boonlet, 4 out of 4 so far, a perfect 100 points out of 100, maximum speed close to 260 kilometers an hour, half a second faster than any other bike on the track.
Well, he hasn't had a podium here yet. He hasn't won a race at his home circuit. He's going to be doing absolutely everything possible, in my mind and in his mind, his clear state of mind, to put that right this time round. Keep an eye on this man. Can anybody stop him, Des? I don't know.
They were the highlights of qualification, and he looks confident, he sounded confident, he's fit, there's a big smile, and he's got a perfect 100 points out of 100 coming into this race. But the weather is closing in. That is potential torrential downpour. We have had some fabulous storms here in Buriram the last couple of days. Got absolutely drenched last night, just in a short walk up to the hotel. It really can change things dramatically, Steve Martin.
It doesn't sprinkle here, does it? It doesn't sprinkle with rain. It comes down so hard, and I'll tell you what, there'll be a few people looking at the sky. And I think it's probably going to be a good idea to keep an eye out for that weather. There could be some guys in the pits with their wet weather bikes.
Okay, let's go down onto the pit lane. Hui Ling, as usual, is about to perform the interviews.
Thank you, Des. Down here on the grid with Buriram Boonlet. Buriram, your first podium of the season, and it could not come at the perfect time here at your home race, in front of your home race. How are you looking forward to the first race?
I just do with my plan, follow my plan only. Yeah.
What's your plan? Okay, thank you so much, Buriram. Good luck for the first race. So as you guys can see, Buriram is keeping his little race plan to himself. We'll have to wait for the start of the race to find out what he does. In the meantime, we'll chat with the rider starting alongside Buriram, Kazma Daniel. Kazma returning to the SuperSports 600cc, and you're starting from the middle of the grid. Of course, your main rival is Buriram Boonlet. How are you going to try to stay as close as possible as you can to him throughout the race?
For the race, I will try to get the podium, and for this race, I want to win because he win at my place in Sepang. Then I want to try to win at his home. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Kazma. So there you have it. Kazma is aiming to try to spoil the party for Buriram at his home race because Buriram won in Malaysia. So quick one with Andy Farid Izdihar. Andy, The wind is slightly getting stronger and we see some clouds above you. How are you looking forward to the first race?
Yeah, maybe in this race situation we don't know. Wind very strong and also condition will be rain. I don't know, but I will try my best for the race.
Okay, good luck, Andy. All right, as the riders prepare to head out for race 1, I'll send it back to Des and Steve in the studio.
Great job as usual from Wheeling. She does a fabulous job down on the pit lane, getting the reaction, and she's asked the perfect question there. We may not have got the plan from Pirapong Boonlet, but we certainly got a weather forecast. It is treacherous out there, Steve Martin, and this has happened literally in the last 10 minutes.
It certainly has, and that's the way it happens in this part of the world. When the weather comes, it comes in a hurry. And I'll tell you what, there'll be a few riders at the moment. They haven't ridden in that wind all weekend. We had a rainstorm and wind approach like this, but it was later last night. So, you know, these riders are definitely in for something new. This could give the other guys a chance against Pirapong. So perhaps it might work in, you know, the favour of mixing things up a little bit.
Exactly what I'm thinking. And it's very flat, this part of Thailand. So there's nothing to stop that wind just coming sweeping in over the track. It might make what is a formidable straight a little bit more difficult. It could cause mayhem if you're in the midst of a steep bank on a corner.
Yeah, absolutely, it could. And I guess here they're sheltered. You know, they're quite sheltered at this part of the circuit. Massive grandstand to the left of it. There it is. There's the massive grandstand. So that's actually sheltering a lot of the wind. But as soon as they dive into that turn 1, that's when the conditions will change. And especially if it's a tailwind up that back straight, they could find themselves getting caught out and braking at their normal spot and getting blown off the track down there. So a little bit of adaptation to be done, especially on this warm-up lap, you know, for these guys.
Broadcast is wonderful. It does bring you close to the action, but it doesn't quite bring you the intricacies of the weather and the pace and the rain and the atmosphere and the temperature. But here's our riders. We've got Pirapong Boonlet on the Yamaha Thai Racing in P1. Alongside him, Kazma Daniel back onto the SuperSports 600 after missing Adelaide. Andy Farid Idzahar, always useful, the Indonesian on the Astra Honda Racing. Second row, Adam Norodom, Ramdan Rosley and Kritchaporn Kausai on the AP Honda Racing. Onto row 3, Azroy Hakim Anwar, second in the championship standings so far. He's had a pretty good season, 1 podium, but he's always there or thereabouts. Pasawit alongside him, who's had 1 DNF and is always in the middle of the pack. Reza Danica, who I've always liked the look of. Reza Danica, no podium for him. Row 4, Javier Ariana Maloy from the Victor Racing team. Alongside him, Fakruzi Shakrin and Mohammed Helmi Azman. Helmi in 5th place in the championship standings so far, and P13, 14, 15 going to Ahmed Afif Amran Masai from Vietnam. My first time seeing Masai, and Liam McDonald from the Victor Racing team. So they've certainly gone round the globe, the Victor Racing team, for their riders, Spain and New Zealand. Let's see if they can cause 1 or 2 problems, because I think everybody is kind of assuming, it's another going to be a Pirapong victory. Of course it's going to be, but things can happen. Racing doesn't work like that, Steve.
Certainly doesn't. Just when you think that something's unbeatable and going to be like that for the rest of the year, something changes, and before you know it, you've got a new person up the front that you're worried about. So Pirapong has got every reason to be worried about getting that home first victory here, because it's definitely not in the bag, especially with the conditions changing like they are out there at the moment. Who knows if it could rain? It's a 50-50 chance at the moment if it rains in the middle of this race, but we'll deal with that if it happens.
He was very reluctant to tell us about his secret plan. He wouldn't tell us in the
I know his secret plan. The plan is he doesn't have a plan. That's the plan.
Do not think. But there is the man without a plan. But he's on bike number 26. If it's no plan, he's done pretty well so far. 4 wins out of 4, but never won here at Buriram. And sometimes riders can have an unlucky circuit. Sometimes.
Yeah, well, you know, the way that he's riding and the effort he's putting in, I think that you know, he's in with a good shot. But there's definitely some contenders that want to take it to him.
Front row of the grid, Pirapong, Kazma Daniel, Andy Farid Idzahar. I've always liked Andy Farid. He's always there or thereabouts. 2 second places, 1 DNF and a 9-point effort for a 7th place. That was in Adelaide race number 1. Very different conditions between Adelaide and Buriram. That's the beauty of this ARRC. Now approaching its 25-year mark, we're all just about ready to go as the camera wobbles in the wind and coming down the main straight. Let's see if Pirapong Boonla can get off to a good start. It looks like it's a safe, secure start. He's first into the first corner, and Pirapong tick number 1 for his first task of the day.
Yes, brilliant job for him. He got that turn one absolutely beautifully, and the drive onto the back straight as well, and already cleared out 2 or 3 bike lengths. So that's the first part of his plan ticked off, as you say.
Absolutely superbly done. He's probably half a second clear already. Behind him there's a bit of a scrum as Azroy Hakim and Andy Farid try to sort themselves into a P2. But wow, Pirapong, there's the plan. Go out quickly and go away from everybody else. You mentioned 30 seconds for Muklada Sarapwech in the AP 250. It's not beyond the realms of possibility for Pirapong if he carries on in this manner, but he has been caught slightly there.
Absolutely. Kazma Daniel is up there as well on the number 127 machine. Good to see him up there on the Hongliong Yamaha. Of course, back into the championship now, and wouldn't it be good for him if he could get a podium and work his way towards that championship? But they're all after that man out front at the moment. Bit of an overtaking manoeuvre there, and it doesn't work out for Ramdan Rosley. He just tried to nip up the inside there, but Kazma Daniel gets back at him.
Just eases a little bit off the throttle, does Pirapong. Those front 3 have pulled themselves away. Just behind them, 634, Helmi Asman's made a really good recovery. He's got himself into P5 at the moment, but Pirapong comes round the sharp right-hand corner, will hunker down over the handlebars and will cross the line in first place. The lead nearly half a second from Kazma Daniel, Ramdan Rosley, Andy Farid and Azroy Hakim in P1 through 5. Less than 2 seconds between 1 and 7. Helmi Asman 6th, Passer with 7.
I'm glad you mentioned Helmi Asman, last year's underbone champion. Good to see him making strides forward in this class now. In 6th position out on track at the moment. That's a good result for him. Big learning curve for him this year, and also for Cruzy as well. But both of those guys are up there. For Cruzy, he's qualified well, but has drifted back to 13th at the moment. And Helmi Asman, probably about in 5th or 6th at the moment, is doing a good job out on track.
Mushashi Boonsiu, Honda's got an incredible record in this competition. Under Zakwan, of course, they used to regularly, and Zamri Baba, they used to regularly be there or thereabouts winning titles. I think it was 6 in a row at this SuperSports. So there's a bit of prestige for them to work with, but they've firstly got to get close to Pirapong Boonla on the Yamaha.
Well, something hasn't gone well for Adam Norodom. He's way back down in 11th, so he's had some sort of moment, and he's 3.1 seconds off of the pace now. So Adam Norodom, who's come back into the race after missing Adelaide, where his brother rode extremely well, is struggling out there with something at the moment. Back in 11th, nowhere near where he qualified.
Also down in 12th is Javier Maui from the Victor Racing, and Liam McDonald as well is in 15th. Masai wildcard from Vietnam in 14th. Only 6 seconds between 1 and 6. Oh, wow, Pirapong. As we were looking away, something happened to Pirapong. He's retaken the lead. It was obviously a moment there for Pirapong. He will be in the lead, but what was a comfortable moment is now very, very close.
Well, now we're in for a bit of a fight. With Pirapong, he gets great drive onto that back straight. I don't know if he was taking it just a little bit too easy on that lap, but it certainly allowed Kazma Daniel and Ramdan Rosley to close that gap up. And now Ramdan Rosley's going to dive up the inside, but breaks late. Pirapong, the latest of the lot, a little bit wide into that final corner, but manages to pull it in tight.
Now maybe he was just teasing us there, Pirapong Boonla. Maybe just a loss of concentration, or maybe part of the plan.
Well, the perfect plan is to get in front and win by a mile. He's not doing that at the moment. He's certainly, his plan's different if that was the plan.
Motorbike racers, Steve Martin, you should know about that. Try anything to keep it tight, but there is Pirapong suddenly under a bit of pressure from Kazma Daniel and Ramdan Rosley, and he's not been able to pull away on the technical back part of this course. He's finding it a little bit difficult. Definitely close there is Kazma Daniel, Kazma Yudim. I want a podium, said Kazma Daniel, but he raced in Europe, his confidence is high. He's been given the boost of the mistake by Pirapong, and he's right on the race leader's back wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. Ramdan Rosley there, of course, just sits in that third position at the moment. He'd have to be pretty happy with that, I would say. Just looking so close, but once again up the inside. Oh, and that has pushed Buriram, both of the guys wide, and Ramdan Rosley says thank you very much, and takes the lead for the first time in this race. The team are pretty happy with that. 1XOX, of course, lead to the 600 race here. What a smile to have on their faces.
Absolutely loving it, and Buriram being bashed all over this Chang International Circuit. Goes for pace, but this time he hasn't got the drive, hasn't been able to get away. Ramdan Rosley is the man who's leading the way, and Buriram was absolutely bullied in that corner. This time though, he does the bullying, goes on the inside, forced a little bit wide. Ramdan Rosley, he takes the inside line. Ramdan holds on to the lead. Buriram goes on the outside, front wheel off the surface, but third place only for Buriram Boonlert.
I tell you what, that's allowing Andy Farrad to catch up to that group as well. Andy Farrad certainly closing down that gap now. He was pretty quick, 140.5 last time round. So Andy Farid's going to join this group, and he's already caught up onto the back. What an incredible lap by Andy Farid to catch up to the back of these leading three motorcycles at the moment. So Andy Farid, welcome to the party. It's going to be a good one.
Real dueling going on in these first three laps. It was a concern that Buriram Boonlert was going to make this a bit of procession. It's not turning out that way. It might still be, because on performance he has got a far superior lap time, half a second quicker in qualification, but one mistake and then a bit of bullying, and suddenly we've got a race on our hands.
Well, that's the thing that he hasn't had this year. He's led every race and just taken off into the distance, and it looked like nobody could attack him at all. But now, I mean, Kaz Daniel again on the brakes so late.
And Ramdan as well, also late. Kazma it is who leads going at the end of lap 4. The lead is 0.1 of a second. Ramdan Rosley third. But they're able this time to hold off Buriram. What has happened to the straight line speed of Buriram Boonlert, Steve Martin?
Well, we don't normally get to see how fast or slow his bike is, because he's normally with nobody, but now he's getting roughed up a little bit. His feathers are being ruffled, and he's having to fight for it. And I'll tell you what, Kazma Daniel on the brakes is the toughest guy out there. He can brake late and pull the bike up, and that's making it really difficult for Buriram in second position at the moment. And it's also allowing the group to perhaps, all that battling, fall back a bit. Adam Norodom is on a charge. He was in 11th. He's moved his way up to 5th now. He's only 2.5 seconds off of this group, so keep an eye on him. He could also join the party.
But Buriram has got himself in front. There was a little look, helmet to helmet, between the two riders as Buriram just eased past Kazma Daniel, almost as if Buriram was saying, okay, you've had your fun, now I'm going to take control. I want to win on my home circuit. Kazma's going to say, bring it on, son, bring it on.
Well, he is, but when Kazma Daniel leads, the lap times are in the 1:41s, but when Buriram leads, they're in the 1:40s. So Buriram's perhaps got the outright pace if he's on his own, but I'll tell you what, Kazma's not going to let that happen.
Kazma Daniel is being dragged along in the slipstream, but you can just see how much work Buriram is having to do. Those fitness campaigns, those workouts in the gym, they are really being called into full use at the moment. Nice and tight, low down, just onto the outside of the track, and gets himself through in first place. The leader's point 3:41 from Kazma Daniel. Full acceleration from Buriram Boonlert. I can tell you there's a little bit of light rain already, just to further add something to this plot, which is a delicious plot for us to talk about. Buriram will not want the rain to intervene in his party.
Well, the thing when you're riding in these conditions is, with that light rain, you do not want to be the guy in front, because you're going to be the one that finds out where it's slippery, how fast you can go. You're the one setting the pace. So now, with light rain, it probably won't be affecting the circuit at the moment, but the riders will be getting it on their visors, and it will be the bravest man that wins this one. Let's hope that it just stays light and it doesn't downpour too much. Still a long way to go in this race, and this is the best 600 race we've had this year so far.
Absolutely. Just while we focus on the top ones, Lee McDonald has limped out. I believe he's come off. We haven't got a shot of him. Masai in 14th, Fakruzi 13th, frustrating for him, 11.5 seconds down. Reza Danica in 12th. Helmi Azman, after a decent start where he got up to P5, has dropped down below Javier Malloy on the Victor Racing in 11th place, Javier in 10th. But at the front, Pirapong is trying to put a little bit of daylight between him and Kazma Daniel before the expected rain falls.
It's an important ride for Ramdan Rosley as well. He hasn't had a podium. He's 10th in the championship this year, so he needs to fight as hard as he can to try and stay at least in that third position. But it's not going to be easy for him because Andy Farid is right behind him and he wants a podium too.
Yeah, Andy Farid has picked up 2 podiums already, 2 second places for the Indonesian, and he's looking for a third one here. There's not a lot he can do other than win his own individual battle. A little bit further down, bike 50, it's Ahmed Afif Amran, Pasawit and Krichapon, the 2 ties in battle for P8 and P9. End of the long straight to the hairpin as we come approaching the halfway point of this race. It's 12 laps of the circuit. So yeah, we are approaching the halfway point. And at the moment, it is Pirapong who's led comfortably previously and is now beginning to just ease himself away. Clear, about 3/4 of a second clear of second place, Kazma Daniel Kazmiuddin.
Keep an eye out to the flag points as this screen, as the race goes on. You'll certainly see where the light rain is. The marshals will have like a flag out, like a yellow flag with a stripe on it, and that will let you know where it's raining and where it's not. But it doesn't look too bad at the moment because there are no flags. But keep an eye out for those flags. That's what the riders are looking for.
Obviously, you can't be changing your tyres halfway through the race. You've got to cope with what is put in front of you. But we have had incredible downpours, just cloud dropping water on the track over the last couple of days. I thought it would have an impact there this morning when I woke up. It hasn't, but I'm very aware that the rain could still have a big impact, if not in this race, certainly in the Superbikes.
Absolutely. Pirapong doing everything he does, and there goes Andy Farid up the inside. What a great passing manoeuvre on Ramdan Rosley. So Ramdan Rosley in the fight for that first podium of the year now. Adam Norodom, what a ride he's having. He's caught up to these 2 guys now from way back. From 11th he was at one point, 3 or 4 seconds back. So he's now putting himself in for a chance at the podium. And the thing that's disappointing for me is if he got a better start, I reckon he could have been right at the front of this race.
At the moment, right at the front is Pirapong Boonla. 4 races, 4 victories so far, smashing everybody both on the track and on the Muay Thai ring. And he is nearly 3/4 of a second clear. The battle for P3, Andy Farid Idzahar and Ramdan Rosley and Adam Norodom chasing there. The 0.6 between P3 and P5. Azroy Hakim has got himself up into P6, but he's a further 2 seconds down on this race for P3.
I'll tell you what, no wonder Pirapong is clearing out up front now, Des, because he's just put in a 39.6. That's 1 minute 39.6. That's 0.4 slower than the qualifying time, which is pretty impressive in these conditions.
Kazma Daniel is being dragged along. He's putting in a 39.882, but that's slow by comparison with Pirapong, but he's still holding on to the back of him. We just saw them go through. P3, Andy Farid is looking like he's getting away from Ramdan Rosley, who at one stage had the lead in lap 2. We're in the second half of the race now, still plenty to race for here. Andy Farid looking for his 3rd podium of the season. Very useful competitor, the Indonesian, for Astra Honda Racing. 1 DNF, 1 7th and 2 second places for him as they come into corner number 12. Pirapong is, what's the distance? 0.623, so he's not been able to increase that lead over Kazma Daniel.
No, another 39.8 for both of those. 8 for both of those riders that time through. 40.5 and 40.7 and 40.5 for the group behind. So they're all at a similar pace that we're looking at now, but not as fast as the 2 guys up front.
Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. We are in round 3 of 7 for the season. Pirapong Boonla will be dreaming, if he wins this race, of going through an entire season as victorious. That's a long, long way away. It's indeed a victory here today. But at the moment he is leading. We're with the battle for P3, and you can see there the back into 3rd place is Ramdan Rosley. He has taken over Andy Farid Idzar. I think Andy Farid was looking ahead of him, forgetting that there was real competition going on behind him from both Ramdan and Adam Norodom.
Yeah, Adam Norodin's been able to catch up quite easily, but he hasn't really been able to attack and get past That's what I would think that you'd want to do at this point of the race, because the last thing he wants to do is to come down to the final corner and sort that battle out for the podium. So Adam Norodin's been able to catch, but it looks like he's struggling a little bit to get past. He needs to do it now.
We're still keeping an eye out on the weather above us. The clouds seem to just be skirting around the Chang International Circuit. Can't put my best weather forecast on, but there was a bit of light rain before, no reports of it since, and the clouds are still a little bit dark, a little bit foreboding, as is the threat to race leader Pirapong Boonlert from Kazma Daniel. Back into P3 goes Andy Farid Itzahar, nice and tight as they come into bend 13, a little bit of contact. It's going to get physical.
Absolutely. Side by side now as they head into turn 1. Adam Norodin decides to take 2 in one shot. Can he hold it on line? He does, and manages to get from 5th to 3rd in one swoop. Good job by him. But I'll tell you what, it's not over yet, because as they head into that turn 2 at the end of this long straight, he's going to have plenty of company.
That was a good straight coming out there from Pirapong Boonlert. He's close to a second clear. Andy Farid takes Norodin on the inside. Norodin tries to go in, but close the gate does Andy Farid. Wow, good battle for P3 here.
Yeah, good job. Adam Norodin has to do it again, but at least now he's only going to get one. He dives up the inside again as they get to turn 4, and he gets through. Good job there into the fast double left in the middle of the circuit. Hard on the brakes. Got to be careful around this one. We've seen some guys come off during the weekend at that point. It's quite tricky on the left-hand side of the corner there. You're on the left for a long time.
The riders physically having to work really hard today. You can see the effort they're putting in. It's not flowing, it's not smooth. They've got physical confrontation, got to wrestle with the bike, unsure with the conditions. It's tough out there for those guys.
It's that sort of track. It is tough. I mean, because there's so much slipstreaming that every time you get to a corner, you're hard on the brakes and you know there's going to be 2 or 3 guys there. You're hard on the brakes as well. That takes the physical side out of you. There's just so many things to consider. One of the riders running straight on there. That was
Kazma Daniel has run straight on, and Pirapong Boonlert. Kazma eventually joined back in.
What was that all about?
Well, stopped for a quick sandwich in the store just over there, a bit of refresher. That was a complete meltdown mentally, I think, from Kazma Daniel. But what it means is that Pirapong Boonlert now has a 5-second lead. Kazma did brilliantly to come back into P2.
Yeah, that's... well, no, he didn't. I don't think he did. I think he's fallen behind that group now, has he?
127, no, that's Kazma Daniel's second.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, he's... yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, he's gone from an easy second at least now to now he's going to have to fight for it. And I'll tell you what, Adam Norodin is going, okay, thank you very much. I'm going to make the most of this. I was going to be happy with 3rd, but now I'm going to put my head down and chase you. So thank you very much, Kazma Daniel.
I'd love to know what happened there. Well, hopefully, Wheeling, after the race, you'll do the interviews and we'll find out what happened.
It could have only been one of 2 things: brain fade, or he had a wobble which knocked the brake pads back and he had to reach twice for the brakes. So that's the only 2 things it could have been.
But a really good recovery. He used the full extension of the track and came back. Will avoid a penalty. I'm just seeing if there was a penalty.
Well, he'll avoid a penalty because he certainly didn't gain an advantage by running out to the edge of the ripple strip there.
So this is the battle for P2 now. Norodin in the red, Kazma Daniel in the blue ahead of them, but miles clear. 5 seconds chasing a 5th consecutive victory is Pirapong Boonlert. Don't think this was the way he planned it, but it's effective. Kazma Daniel, great recovery. This time he takes the apex perfectly. 1 lap to go. Pirapong is away. Kazma Daniel, though, under intense pressure from Adam Norodin, Ramdan Rosley, and Andy Farid Itzahar.
Yep, and they're right on the back wheel now. Adam Norodin put in a personal best lap for him, a 39.7 last time round, and that has certainly spurred him on. You can be assured that heading into turn 12, it's going to be an absolute cracker. But Pirapong Boonlert now, he's just a few corners away from victory, but this is where the battle's going to hot up. Norodin now right on the back, and Kazma Daniel a little bit wide there. through, look at that, through.
Ramdan tries to get through. Kazma slams the gate closed, but there's going to be pressure. Ramdan is currently in third, has a look on the outside. Kazma Daniel under intense pressure. Norodom, three in a line. They both go past him. Norodom into third place. Wow, Kazma Daniel has got the battle of his life on his hands.
Absolutely, Norodom now exactly where he wants to be, up the inside. What a brilliant manoeuvre there by Kazma Daniel, but he's got more work to do because that man in front there, Adam Norodom, who's come all the way through the field from 11th position. He's definitely not going to get it his own way as Kazma Daniel is there. Ramdan Rosley, keep an eye on those guys, and let's not forget the man back and forth, Ramdan Rosley. He's still in with a chance here as we come to the dying stages of this race now, Des.
They come on the sharp right, they'll cut into a left. They've got just 3 more corners to go. Kazma Daniel, can he get close to Adam Norodom? Can he hold off Ramdan Rosley? A non-podium for Kazma would be a disaster, but 5 wins out of 5 for Pirapong Boonlert. Adam Norodom goes on the inside. Ramdan gets inside Kazma Daniel. Norodom second, Ramdan third. Kazma Daniel, disaster. A certain second becomes a devastating fourth.
Wow, that is definitely not what he wanted, but what a great ride by Pirapong Boonlert. Adam Norodom as well, he came through, that was a strong ride, but Ramdan Rosley, he just stole that final position. Kazma Daniel will have some soul searching to do tonight.
Adam Norodom second, Kazma Daniel. Well, I hope Wheeling can interview him. We normally only interview the top 3. We'll certainly be talking to this fella, Pirapong Boonlert. Not quite sure that was the actual plan. I'm asking Wheeling to ask the question, what was the plan? But please, can we talk to Kazma Daniel to find out what the heck happened when he went wide and about the last corner as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when he ran wide, that would have set him, he would have been worried at that point, you know, like things aren't going right, the pressure's on, you lose your momentum, and he did, he just lost his momentum. The field he went back to the field, and Adam Norodom saw a chance and did his fastest lap of the race, and unfortunately for Kazma Daniel, it was all over.
Well, plenty to talk about in that 12 laps. An astonishing amount to talk about. Pirapong won it at least 3 times.
But thankfully, he nearly lost it a couple of times as well. So it's good to see that although Pirapong won again, 5 out of 5 now, it's good to see that he had a little bit of competition this time.
Okay, confirmation of the results. Pirapong Boonlert 7 seconds clear of Adam Norodom, who edged second place off on the last lap. Ramdan Rosley edged third place on the last corner. Kazma Daniel will be having nightmares tonight and will be looking to atone on race number 4 tomorrow. Solid from Andy Farid, Idzar, as always. Azroy Hakim, a distant 6th place, 3 seconds adrift of Andy Farid. And then Pasawit and Ahmad Afif Amram, 19 seconds adrift of the race leader. Further down, Helmi Asman, who was in the top 5 for a little period on the Mashashi Bunshu Honda, 20 seconds adrift. Reza Danica and Krichipon not really able to get up with the front leaders. Fakruzi in 12th, Marseille 13th, Javier Malloy for the Victor Racing team in 14th, and Liam McDonald, he limped out. Terrific race. Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championship is really showing its worth today. And Pirapong Boonlert is really showing his worth this season. 5 races, 5 wins, Steve Martin. Pick the bones out of that.
Absolutely fantastic. But I'll tell you, the field are catching him up. I mean, the first 4 were easy. You really had to fight hard for that one. Hats off to Kazma Daniel. He took it to him for the first 3 quarters of the race and perhaps pushed a little bit too hard. For one reason or another, he ran off in that turn 1, and that was the undoing of his race. Adam Norodom, what could have been if he, in my opinion, you know, he went back to 11th. If he didn't, if it got a better start, you know, he could have been up there on the podium, perhaps in first position. We've got to keep an eye on him for tomorrow. And Ramdan Rosley, well, he always gets the most out of everything that he does. In the 39s, one of the few guys in the 39s in the race. You know, tomorrow, with this confidence that he takes in, I think that he could be a winner too.
In the midst of that scrum, as Ramdan puts on his sponsor's helmet, the Dunlop helmet, and the Malaysia flag, and gets the hugs from all of his teammates. It was a terrific Terrific last corner once again. We always say this at this fabulous racetrack. That last corner is something to remember. I think we can go down to the interviews where Wheeling, as usual, is getting herself into the scrum and the riders are ready to talk to. I also hope that we can talk to Kazma Daniel. I'm not sure whether that'll be allowed. Wheeling, talk us through the top three.
Hey, Ramdan, congratulations picking up your first podium here in Buriram. Not an easy one. You kind of waited to the very final minute.
Yeah, first I would like to thank to the team for the amazing weekend because they work very hard because I have really tough weekend because yesterday qualifying and practice I have much problem with the engine. Then the team tried to solve and in the end the team worked hard and I tried to push my limit to give some prize to the team and anyway, syukur alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much, Ramdan. Congratulations. And coming in second place is Adam Norodom. Adam, congratulations. You kind of had a come from behind, but what a great finish for you today in second.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for my team, the ARRC team. They have really great job. All the weekend they are really pushing hard. They give really perfect bike for me in first lap. I touched with the rear tire with somebody, then I lost so much position. But good recovery, and I'm really happy to come back to the podium again. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Adam. Thank you. And picking up his fifth win of the season is Yamaha Thailand Racing Team's Pirapong Bunlat. Pirapong, congratulations. Another victory to continue your winning streak. However, this time around, share with us what happened during the start of the race because it looked like you were under pressure a lot from Kazma Daniel and also Ramdan Rosley. How do you get that under control?
ก็เดี๋ยวผมพูดไทยแล้วเดี๋ยวให้พี่แปลครับก็ช่วงแรกๆก็มีไฟติ้งนิดหน่อยก็เกี่ยวกับสภาพอากาศด้วยคือเราก็งงเหมือนกันคือตอนนี้ที่บุรีรัมย์ก็สภาพอากาศค่อนข้างที่จะแปรปรวนแล้วก็พยายามตั้งสติแล้วก็ไปตามแผนเราที่เราวางไว้อย่างเดียวครับ
So he's saying that from beginning he feel that the weather is big change for him during the BIC circuit. The weather not so smoothly well. So he tried to recover by concentration more and focus more. Later is back. Right.
Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations, Pirapong. We'll see all three riders on the podium.
Interesting, the Pirapong actually mentioned the weather changing. It didn't change as much as we thought it would do in this race, but they were certainly aware of it. It was windy, it was gusty, there was a little bit of light rain at the start. It meant there were all kinds of things going Pirapong Bunlat's mind at the start of this race. But he got off to a flyer, Steve Martin.
Oh, he certainly did. I mean, we thought at this point of the race, he got through turn one with 2 or 3 bike length lead. We thought it was all over and he was going to get that 5th win as a given. But thankfully, that wasn't to be. Adam Norodom didn't get a very good start, but the group caught up and Kazma Daniel, the first man to overtake Pirapong in a race this year, he really did take it to the number 26 rider. He had a look over there and he thought, you know what, I think I can beat you today. And then, of course, Ramdan Rosley was up there too. Ramdan Rosley, what a brilliant ride by him. He was in an easy podium position at that point, but he didn't just quite have the pace to stay with the 2 men out the front. But how hard was that?
I tell you what, you could write a film. You could have a film about corner number 12 here at the Chang International Circuit. It'd be a nightmare at the Chang International Circuit, though, for Kazma Daniel after what happens on the last lap. Just about every lap, some major incident happens on that exact corner.
Andy Farid was up there as well. Good to see him joining the fray on the Astra Honda. There was a bunch of 4 at the moment at one time there.
But Pirapong, he did have the straight line speed. He was able to get away. He'd won it once and he was dragged back. He won it almost a second time. Kazma Daniel did everything he possibly could to stay in him. So our focus moved on to P3. Adam Norodom, bike number 77. You always had an inkling that he was able, if he was able to get past these two, that he might have had a chance to really compete for the top, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, absolutely. He got there and he tried everything he could. At one point, it didn't look like he could do much, but then he took 2 in 1, didn't he? And from that point on, he thought, I'll be happy with third. That'll do me. I'll sit in third position. And he was quite happy with that. But then, Daniel had that little problem, didn't he? And he ran off, which allowed him to catch up. And then it was another group of 3, and this was for second and third. And it didn't work out for the number 127 man because he got knocked off the podium altogether. But boy, were they battling hard. Not Adam Norodom on the final lap, though, put himself in the perfect position. There's your winner, though. 5 out of 5, number 26. That final corner, that Casper Daniel runs wide, and boy, Ramdam Rosley says thank you very much and grabs that final podium position.
My heart is bleeding for Kazma Daniel Kazmiuddin. The wheelie for the race winner, Pirapong Boonlet. It's all going swimmingly for him. Ramdam Rosley delighted with third place as we go to the podium, and wheeling for the prize giving as well. Stanley Yasuhiro, the Vice President of the FIM Asia, will be handing out the awards.
We'll begin the podium ceremony for the SuperSports 600cc Race 1. Coming in third place today from 1XOX TKKR SAG Racing Team, Mohammad Ramdan Rosley. In second place from SIC Junior ZK Racing Team, Mohammad Adam Mohammad Norodom. And today's SuperSports 600cc Race 1 winner from Yamaha Thailand Racing Team, Pirapong Boonlet. I'd like to invite a representative from Yamaha Thailand Racing Team to join the riders on the podium. We will now stand for the national anthem of Thailand. To present the riders with their trophies. In third place from 1XOX TKKR SAG Racing Team, Malaysian rider Mohammad Ramdan Rosley.
อันดับที่ 3 ครับนักแข่งจากมาเลเซียครับมูฮัมหมัดรัมดัมรอสลีย์ครับ
In second place from SIC Junior ZK Racing Team, Malaysian rider Mohammad Adam Mohammad Norodom.
อันดับที่ 2 นักแข่งจากมาเลเซียเช่นกันครับมูฮัมหมัดอันดัมนอรุดินครับ
And today's race winner from Yamaha Thailand Racing Team, Thai rider Pirapong Boonlet.
และเจ้าของวินเนอร์โพเดียมจาก Yamaha Thailand Racing Team พีรพงษ์บุญเลิศ
And today's best team award goes to Yamaha Thailand Racing Team.
และรางวัลทีมอวอร์ดครับได้แก่ Yamaha Thailand Racing Team ครับ
Well, thanks to Stanley Yasuhiro, the Vice President of the FIM Asia, Pirapong Boonlet, imperious. 5 wins out of 5. Adam Norodom doing his best for the SIC Junior Racing Team on the Yamaha 1, 2, 3. And what that means in the overall championship standings, well, Pirapong, you cannot get better than 5 wins out of 5. 125 points available, 125 points have absolutely been received. He'll enjoy his kickboxing next time he's in the gym. he'll have to race again tomorrow to try to make it 6 out of 6. As we have a look at the overall standings, Andy Farid 1 point clear of Azroy Hakim, who's 6th place, just manages to keep him in the top 3. Adam Norodom and Kazmud, I tell you, my heart is bleeding for Daniel Kazmud, and do try to catch the highlights on Facebook or wherever you possibly can, just to share my pain for Daniel. Ahmad Afif in 6th, Helmi Azman in 7th on the Masashi Bunshu Honda. Ramdan Rosley, reward for that last lap theft, is up to 8th. Reza Danica 9th. Pasowitz Ibrahim Norodom in completing the top 11. Kritchapon Javier Malloy picked up 2 points today, 22 points overall. Fakruzi on 22 points as well. Liam McDonald didn't complete today, was 1 lap down, and Carol Ikwam didn't race today. Okay, so we've got one more race to go. If they're anything like the first 3, I promise you don't want to miss it. This is the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships, and the big boys are next. We've got the Superbikes. We're back with you in 2 minutes' time.